At Impact Florida, we are all about supporting great teaching. And we are so excited about the Solving with Students Cadre experience because it was our first cadre of all teachers focused on student feedback from their secondary math classrooms. And we feel like this gives us the proof points to know how to directly support teacher change in practice as part of owning their own professional learning. And we are eager to continue to support this. This was our first cadre that also had teachers apply across districts, so they were able to create a network beyond the bounds of their own school or district. And that was exciting for us because our impact then gets immediately to those teachers and their students with the resources that we provide.
In the Solving with Students cadre, our teachers participated in student surveying. So they used this free platform called Elevate by PERTS, in which they gave their students 4 different surveys over the course of the semester. These were completely anonymous and they received feedback directly from their students on the classroom level, which is something they don't traditionally get from any kind of survey they would give or their schools or districts would give.
So I wanted to get a sense of what my children thought of my classroom and how to get them more engaged in the mathematics and the learning. Because I've noticed since with COVID going on, they haven't had a normal school year in over 2 years. And so I wanted to see how I can help them find that normalcy again and get back into loving to learn.
Some of the wraparound supports we provided were a $1,500 stipend for the teacher's time, surprise gift boxes and notes that we sent them in the mail. We also provided one-on-one coaching with the new Teacher Center for teachers who were interested, and for those who weren't, they met with Impact Florida for one-on-one support. And we hosted community calls, which is something we traditionally do in our learning cadres. But what was different is the teachers shared strategies that were successful to them and were able to collaborate with one another. And then we also had a closed Facebook group that provided them kind of that personal touch in which they could communicate and get to know one another on a deeper level. Wraparound supports were a key element to this cadre because just giving the surveys was incredibly challenging and the teachers had to be vulnerable to listen and to hear what their students had to say about their teaching practice.
We had 45% that said there's somewhat of a classroom community. That's an area that we could probably improve on a little bit.
So these supports really helped provide additional context, the support teachers needed emotionally, and just additional help in what should I do, what strategies should I pick. They really gave the teacher guidance in terms of being successful over the course of the cadre.
When you see low numbers, you're afraid. You're like, oh no, I'm doing so poorly. But the coach was able to still pull out the good in that and help you to really analyze that information and say, hey, what are we seeing? And we know small changes can make big impacts to the numbers.
Some of the biggest changes we saw in the results of the cadre really came down to the 4 learning conditions the teachers most focused on. So meaningful work, teacher caring, student voice, and classroom community. On average, the teachers that focused in those areas saw 9-point growth in each of them, which is extraordinary. And then within individual survey items, teachers saw upwards of 30 to 40 to even 50-point growth in individual classes. It's just extraordinary for only a couple months worth of work.
I'm a data person, so data talks. So through this experience, I do notice that the students' data has changed. I noticed that the quality of their work has changed because their voice is included. I've noticed student engagement has increased. I've noticed that I don't have to give extra credit to say, come on a Saturday, they're there. And when they understand that teachers care, they want to learn.
The teachers absolutely loved the cadre. It was a huge success, both just in terms of data that we received from their classrooms, but also how they felt as well. Teachers overwhelmingly shared that they'd never experienced professional development like this before. Typically, it's sit and get. That is what teachers are used to. Here, they had so much autonomy.
Teaching is viewed as a profession. All the teachers are together, but when it comes down to teaching, it's very isolating. It's you're in your classroom, you've got your kids, and I've never had an experience like this where it's focused on teaching practices, not how to teach specific content, but just how to be a good teacher. And I think that's important for all teachers, whether they've had 20 years experience or whether this is their first year in the classroom.